Good evening. I'm Charles Benson. More than 400 Wisconsin runners are taking on this year's Boston Marathon. Our Cody Holyoke is there to bring you their stories. He joins us now live from downtown Boston. Cody?
Charles, good evening. The city of Boston is buzzing tonight as runners prepare themselves physically and emotionally for tomorrow's race, which is now less than 12 hours away. The clock's ticking. Today and this weekend, athletes had a chance to get reacquainted with the city of Boston and receive a warm welcome in the process.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
You can feel the excitement, the electricity in the air. Race time is right around the corner. What is it like to be back in Boston?
It's pretty amazing, actually.
Steve Taylor of Brookfield brought his wife and kids to watch him run in this year's marathon. They were just 2 blocks from the bombings last April. Today, they're overwhelmed to see how Boston bounced back.
There are far more people here. There seems to be far more interest in the event. Just more people in general on the streets, more people everywhere.
Runners from across the globe lined the blocks for Easter Mass downtown. At Old South Church, many athletes left with a souvenir. Hand-knit scarves of all sizes, crafted in blue and gold as a comfort for runners like Marquette grad Cynthia Schwartz.
The fact that somebody who has, I don't know, knit it, and specifically for this event is just quite lovely.
A mandatory stop here in Boston, Copley Square, the end of the Boston Marathon. We have seen thousands of runners here today with mixed emotions. They're happy to be a part of this year's race, but they're mindful of what happened just yards from the finish line.
Really, until the 15th last week, it didn't really hit me quite how emotional it was going to be.
Ann Kaufman watched the coverage of the bombings last year from home in New Berlin. This time around, she's in the race and even brought her kids to Boston so they could watch her cross the finish line.
Last year, right after the bombings, the first thing they asked is, "Mom, are you really going to go to Boston?" And I assured them that it will probably be the safest marathon ever to run.
There are reminders of the pain. Trinkets and tributes mark the spots where 2 bombs destroyed and ended lives. But there is also strength in this city, a resilience and a drive to show the people who did this you don't mess with Boston, and with the runners determined now more than ever to finish strong.
You have to go back. You have to show that you're not going to back down to terrorism. You're not going to back down and be afraid of this type of thing, not be intimidated.
Wisconsin's runners are thrilled to be here in Boston, and they are ready to get going. Many of them will gather where we are here at Boston Common tomorrow morning to get through security, get on the bus, and get to the starting line. Live in Boston, Cody Holyoke, today's TMJ4.
So, Cody, you talked about all those people who are there to watch and participate. You just talked about security. What's that going to be like for them?
Well, the police presence here in Boston today was fairly low-key. We did see a few canine patrols around Copley Square at the finish line. I tell you, tomorrow, all of that is going to change. About 1 million people, 1 million spectators are expected to line the route, the 26.2 miles from Hopkinton here to downtown Boston. Police presence is going to be very, very thick. At least 3,500 Boston officers, both uniformed and plainclothes, will be patrolling the streets. There are restrictions on the types of bags that you can carry around. So safety should not be an issue here if the Boston Police Department has anything to say about it, Charles.
But it sounds like it'll be a busy day for them. Cody, we appreciate that. Cody, we'll have more stories from Wisconsin runners tomorrow morning on Daybreak. Watch his live reports right here on today's TMJ4. The marathon, by the way, starts at 10 o'clock in the morning.